The 741st edition of the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with promo code MMASGPN to get a 50% deposit bonus of up to $1,000.
Heidi ho, degenerinos. Welcome to episode 741 of the MMA Gambling Podcast and the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, dedicated to with the YouTube names is always fun because it's always just one word, and I have to decide where the spaces go. Goria UK for cheering that we were back with our UFC Vegas 101 video. We are back. I am one of your hosts, the Canadian capitalist Jeff Fox. We are back with part 2 of our UFC 311 breakdown. Yesterday was all about the prelims. We only differed on one fight. We got in on some similar big dogs there, so make sure you ingest that episode as well if you haven't already. Today's all about the main card, a very solid. I'll say it off the top, a very solid main card. Not sure if we're gonna have some big dogs that we're gonna get in on this one or not. So definitely check out the prelims. Of course, the man to the left is with me. That would be Daniel Gumby. He's going to help me break down these 5 fights and then give out our locks, our dogs, our props, and maybe a parlay, maybe a round robin. We'll see what Gumby has in store.
I think we're going parlay this week.
Okay.
We did hit one of the legs of the round robin last week. We got the Kopylov KO just barely in the nick of time.
Yeah.
And that means we didn't quite break even on it. So I'm going back to the regular Hungry Man Jong Superfan parlay. 2 fights, at least 10-1. So make sure you tune in for that later in the episode. But we're back to normal. I didn't love a lot of the props in this card, I'll be honest. We were talking about at the end of last episode whether or not we could get behind Peyton Talbot by KO at like negative 185. And like you kind of can, but like that's not what one of those round robins is made of. It's not made out of negative 185 plays. I did the same thing with like looking at Jelton Almeida's props, and like none of them are really super intriguing. So like it was hard to find props I was super into here, but there are a lot of money lines. As a matter of fact, every single money line I'm going to tell you about today on the main card, I like.
Yeah, there's close money lines for the first 3 fights, and then surprisingly big ones. So maybe not the main event. I guess that's not a super shock, but the co-main event seems to be surprisingly a wide line there. And I have a feeling Gummy's going to take one of these wide dogs in at least one of those fights. I think Gummy's going to be playing a line instead of who he thinks is going to win the fight, but we'll have to wait and see. Maybe it's both. Hopefully, both.
I often do both.
Yeah. There you go. That's the sweet spot. Before we jump into it, make sure you get our app. The SGPN app allows you easy access, instant access to all of our free picks and podcasts, and of course, Gumby's first basket, NBA first basket articles, and then I do a best bet, a parlay, and an NBA best bets article every day on the SGPN app, and of course at sportsgamblingpodcast.com. All right, let's start off with one of the tight odd ones. This one's actually been jumping back and forth. The guys have been flip-flopping as to who is the dog and who's the favorite. We're gonna lock it in right now and let you know as of our recording who the favorite is. We got Kevin Holland, United States of America. Reiner de Ridder, he's not from Brazil because I didn't say Hinier de Hitter. That would be Hitter would be a good name for a fighter. He's from the Netherlands. And we got 3 500 rounds. This is that middleweight.
You missed a big chance at a joke there. He's
Hitter.
No, he's from Holland.
Yes, the Netherlands. He's from.
Kevin Holland is fighting the guy.
Yeah, it's true.
From
it's
Holland.
True. Yes.
Your dad joke game is sleeping.
No, I said the hitter is a way better. The hitter is a way better joke. Yeah, come on. I've been a dad longer than you. I know the dad jokes. All right, Holland is the dog as of now. I'll take away the suspense there. So we'll tell you about him first. Trailblazer. 26-12 with 1 no contest, 14 knockouts, 8 submissions. He's been knocked out twice, submitted 3 times, 13-9 with 1 no contest in the UFC, 1-3 over his last 4. He got TKO'd in his last fight. Used to fight down at welterweight, 1-0 contender series, 1-0 in Bellator. Multiple championships on his
mantle.
Correct. Get the shirt, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store. Missed weight before at welterweight, which isn't really a shock because he's a pretty tall dude. 2015 Pro MMA debut, 2-1 in pro kickboxing, 3 inches reach over De Ridder, 2 years younger, more active landing strikes. He's outstruck his opponents in the UFC by 1.03 strikes per minute, plus 100. The Dutch Knight, or RDR, are the nicknames. RDRR, 18-2, 4 knockouts, 12 submissions. He's been knocked out twice. 1-0 in the UFC. He's won 2 straight. Before that, he lost 2 straight. All of those fights were finishes. He was in 1 championship. He was a two-weight division champ. He was up at light heavyweight and middleweight champ. So he's already been at the top of the mountain. So this is just a step down now. Multiple regional championships on his
mantle.
Correct. Get the shirt, sportsgamblingpockets.com/store. A 2013 pro MMA debut, 0-1-1 as a pro grappler, a 2-time silver medalist in the European Jiu-Jitsu Championships, an inch of height over Holland, but our grappling stats in Holland, this is all based off of 1 fight. The grappling is not the height. He's outstruck in the UFC by 0.68 strikes per minute, minus 108. I usually kick these off. I'll kick it off. When I wrote about this on Sunday, I picked De Ridder, and he was a dog at the time. Unfortunately, people must have read my article, Gumby, because now he's the favorite. Pretty clear path to victory. Take Kevin Holland down. Kevin Holland gets taken down. Kevin Holland seems to be happy, lying on his back and cracking jokes and not trying to.
Trying to knock people out from there. He knocked out Jack.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but we got to give him credit for that. But he accepts the bottom position far too easily and gets taken down far too easily. So I think there's a pretty clear path to victory here for De Ridder. A little bummed that it's not a dog, but he hasn't really changed that much. He was like plus 100, I think, on Sunday. Now he's minus 108. So, and yeah, De Ridder's a bit.
Yeah, I like De Ridder here too. And I know his striking looked kind of terrible last time out, to the point where it actually kind of bummed me out a little bit how bad he looked. But at the same time, and I've said this 100 times about Kevin Holland, he does not belong at middleweight. And I know he's missed weight once before at welterweight or twice before at welterweight. But like, if you look at his recent performances, which is what's skewing this line right now, which is what's bringing him back in, it's because they were down at welterweight where nobody can take him into deep waters like they did time and time again at middleweight and scared him back into going to welterweight, right? Like, this is the worst kind of matchup for him because it has always been the case with Kevin Holland that he is a good striker. He can stand and trade with just about anybody. Okay, he can put in really good performances on the feet. He's not a grappler. Despite a couple of submission victories in there, those are reactive or after tagging and bagging or whatever, but he's not like a pure grappler and certainly isn't that at middleweight against a phenomenal grappler. So yeah, I think as long as De Ridder doesn't get clipped on the way into one of his early grappling exchanges, I think he's going to take him down. I think you're going to see just straight domination on the mat. So yeah, give me René De Ridder here.
Yep. We agree on that one. All right. Moving on up to a lightweight bout. Beneil Dariush versus Renato Moicano. Obviously, Renato Moicano is from Brazil. Beneil Dariush, he's got the Assyria. So he's from Syria, I assume. That's what the flag looks like. Cool. Is he from Syria for real? I think
he's maybe of Syrian origin, but I thought he was from the U.S. Am I wrong about that?
It's his flag is listed as Syria.
Are you talking about on
Topology? Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So I don't know. ASSYRIA.
It's with an A? That's not the same as the country.
I know, but ASS like ass, and then
all right. You continue to give a breakdown. I'm going to explain to the people.
It's a state. It says it's a state. I've already googled it, Gumby. But yeah.
All right.
West Asians. Maybe someone will be listening from Assyria and let us know. And yeah, let me break it down. You people probably don't care either way, right? Dariush, we're going to talk about first. He is the dog. He's 22-6-1, 5 knockouts, 8 submissions. He's been knocked out 5 times, submitted once. 16-6-1 in the UFC. He's lost 2 straight. Before that, he won 8 straight. Both his past 2 losses have come via knockout or TKO. He's not fought since December 2023, which is probably smart considering he's been getting knocked out. Has not won a fight since October 2022. He's missed weight before. He used to be a regional champ. 2009 pro MMA debut. 0-1 as a grappler. Multiple grappling world championships. Sorry, Gumby. Set your alarms off. He's outstruck his opponents in the UFC by 1.13 strikes per minute. Better grappling stats than Moicano, plus 150. Moicano actually is his nickname. Moicano means Mohican. Mohawk, yeah. His real name is what? Renato. What's his real name again? I'm forgetting his last name now because he's gone by Moicano for so long. He used to knock Money Moicano actually is his real nickname. Alves, of course. Carniero, that's what he used to go by.
Carniero. Yeah, he used to go by
Renato
Renato Carniero.
Yeah. And yeah, he's Moicano now. Money Moicano. 25-1, 20-5-1. 2 knockouts, 10 submissions. He's been knocked out 3 times, submitted once. 12-3 in the UFC. He's won 4 straight, 2 straight via TKO or KO. TKO. They were both. Has not lost since March 2022. Used to fight at featherweight. 2010 pro MMA debut. 1-0 pro grappler. An inch of height over Dariush. Better striking stats, more active line strikes than Dariush is. He's outstruck his opponents in the UFC by 0.82 strikes per minute. He's at -170. Iran, isn't that where Beneil Dariush was born?
Yeah, so I looked up Assyria is was like a former empire that was between where like modern day Iran, Kuwait, Syria, and Turkey is. So like clearly he's got ancestors that are Assyrian, which makes him he's repping that flag. All right. Well, now that you've had a geography lesson with Gumby and Jeff, I'm taking Money Moicano here. I think it's sort of a shame to see what an incredible run Beneil Dariush went on there and how great that was, and for it not to at least materialize into a title fight. But like now it kind of feels like his day has passed, because like he's never been the fastest guy, and now he's a touch slower than he used to be. And the matchups they're giving him now too are just not favorable. Like it doesn't feel like he can out grapple Moicano at this stage in his career with as fast as Moicano is and as good as Moicano scrambles and stuff like that. Like the wrestling of Dariush doesn't scare me in this one. And the hands are going to be infinitely faster on the Moicano side, like infinitely faster on the Moicano side. Like he's going to light him up on the feet. You have to imagine that. And he's winning fights by knockout too, which is, a scary thing when you're talking about a guy who's from a jiu-jitsu background, and also, just being a 145 pounder for as long as he has. His speed is still that of a 45er. And, right now you're getting Dariush, whose speed is like a welterweight, or maybe worse, So yeah, I'll take Moicano here all day.
Yeah, Dariush basically is Tony Ferguson, a less celebrated Tony Ferguson. But
I mean, like his losses, he got like blown up less than Tony Ferguson, and now we're talking about like 2 losses. Like he'd need to lose 8 more, and like he sort of strikes me as the guy of like, I kind of think if he loses this one, he's done.
Yeah.
He'd probably walk away. He didn't get his title shot. He's how old did you say he was?
Same age as Moicano. That's the thing. The same age, same level of experience, but
he's rocking grays like I am.
They're going in different directions. I just meant Dariush had a massive run like Ferguson did. And
for sure.
And it was he made a run at the wrong weight class at the wrong period of time too.
Ferguson got the interim title shot and won it.
Yeah, that's true.
Which granted, do with that what you will, but if you're gonna call, as many people call Colby Covington a champ, he's just as much of a champ as Tony Ferguson. In fact, he's probably less one. At least Ferguson's fought somebody who was actually in that weight class.
Dariush is your age, so it all pans out. The grays,
okay, there we go.
Moicano's my pick as well. A guy, maybe he's getting that. I'm still waiting for it. The old man power that we hear about people getting it now. He's getting older, and he
knocked out Drakkar Klose, but that was a fluke, right?
Yeah, but no, he's knocked out back-to-back people, which is.
I meant.
Oh, yes, right. Yeah. No, I meant Moicano. So we got a guy with a lot of wear on his tires who's getting knocked out all of a sudden against a guy who's knocking people out. So I think that's a bad stylistic matchup, despite the same age and basically same level of experience. All right, before we move on, after we've just dug a grave for Beneil Dariush, playoffs. We're talking about playoffs. You bet we are. Get in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Scoring touchdowns is key to winning in the playoffs, and you can score big by betting on them at DraftKings, the #1 place to bet touchdowns. Ready to place your first bet? Try betting on something simple, like a player to score 6. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app and make your pick. Obviously, go in there and check out the UFC 311 lines as well. New DraftKings customers can bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code SGP. That's code SGP for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5 only on DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Now I'm going to read the T's and C's to you.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPENY or text HOPENY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
Whew, out of breath, Gumby. That's a lot to say all at once. But all right, I did it. I made it through it. All right, we are moving to 205 now, so up 50 pounds. Yuri Prochazka, he's back. He's out of his cave. Has he done anything weird this training camp? Have we seen him in the cave or a hole in the ground or anything interesting? Do you know?
I haven't seen him do anything weird, but that doesn't mean he didn't do anything weird.
Well, I'm sure he did. Yeah, Czech Republic is where he's from. Jamahal Hill from the UFC Apex is where he lives, and it's a 205 pound fight. That's what flag it is. It's UFC Apex flag on his Topology page. He actually wasn't there. He hasn't been there.
He hasn't been there in a minute. Yeah,
wonder what happened.
I think he's actually training.
Ooh. Crazy. We'll tell you about Prochazka. This is champ versus champ fights. There you go. Prochazka, BJP is 30-5-1. So 30 wins, 5 losses, 1 draw, 26 knockouts, 3 submissions. He's a finisher. He's been knocked out 4 times, submitted once. He owes his rounds. That means as well. 4-2 in the UFC. He was the former champion. Loss over his last 3, all TKOs. Was a Ryzen champ before this as well. Regional champ as well. Used to fight at heavyweight. 2012 Pro MMA debut. A Muay Thai champion, an inch of reach, a year younger than Hill. Better grappling stats than Hill. Not a guy really grapples too much, though. Beneil struck in the UFC.
Really could choke Glover Teixeira.
Yeah, that's true. He got the belt by grabbing, but that really isn't his MO normally. He's been outstruck in the UFC by 0.21 strikes per minute, plus 110. Sweet Dreams Hill, 12-2 with 1 no contest, 7 knockouts. He's been knocked out twice. 6-2 with 1 no contest in the UFC. He's the former champion as well. 4-1 over his last 5. He did get knocked out in his last fight. 1-0 contender series, regional champ, an inch of height over Prochazka, better striking stats, more active landing strikes, and he has outstruck his opponents by 3.67 strikes per minute, which is very impressive for the UFC. Minus 120. This is another one that was kind of bouncing around Pick'em and much closer than it is now. I'm going Hill, surprisingly. Prochazka just gets hit too much. I don't think Jamahal Hill's good, but it doesn't matter if he's good. It's light heavyweight. I don't have a lot of faith in Prochazka. You got to worry about his chin, all the battles he has been in. You got to worry about Hill's chin too. That's fair enough. But I
both guys have been knocked out by Alex Payne.
Same guy, yeah. I think I have more faith in Jamahal Hill. Am I really? I'm picking Jamahal Hill. I think he's
terrible.
I know, but
he's really bad.
Gets by with it. Prochazka
who has he gotten by with it against, though?
Everybody in light heavyweight.
No, but here's the part where I'm playing devil's advocate here, because I'm with you on that, right? Like, people continue to bet Jamahal Hill and continue to talk about Jamahal Hill as if he is an adequate boxer, right? Like, that's what people like to say. He is. At least he can box because he knocks
heavyweight.
People
he's
out.
Okay.
Right? No, he's not. He's bad. He's not a good boxer. Who is
Johnny
he
Walker, Jimmy Crute, Thiago Santos, Vince St. Preux. Are you not impressed yet?
I'm not. No, I'm not.
He got his arm broken, and then the ref didn't stop it. So then he had to get pounded out by Paul Craig.
He had to spend 25. Yeah, that was funny, wasn't it?
Yes.
He had to spend 25 minutes trying to knock Glover Teixeira out, and like Glover Teixeira didn't want to fight anymore. He had retired, and he still couldn't knock that guy out because he's not as good of a boxer as a motivated 40-year-old Glover Teixeira. And that for me is what like makes me say, like, no, you got to take the guy Yuri Prochazka, who like lights people up, and he has knocked out people. Like, let's pull up his record. Knocked out Alexander Rakic. We just watched Magomed Ankalaev not able to do that. He knocked out Volkan Ozdemir. Again, not a guy who you maybe think of as a world beater, but not an easy guy to knock out either. A guy who's smart defensively. Like, none of those guys you're talking about with Jamahal Hill are guys who you're like, oh, that's a guy who's smart defensively, right? You're not talking about Johnny Walker that way. You're not talking about Jimmy Crute that way. Jimmy Crute like weirdly overextended himself and was knocked out in 50 seconds. I think Yuri Prochazka is a more talented boxer here, and I think it needs only one. I was thinking about throwing this prop out there because, like, let's face it, these two are going to go in and slug for 2 minutes and it's going to be over. Jiri Prochazka's first round knockout prop is 5-1. I think you could do a lot worse than that in this.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I can picture it happening. I can picture Jamahal getting his ass knocked out again, but I'm taking him anyhow because I can't back off my pick once I've made it. So
you've done it before.
He is
I could let you.
No, I don't want to.
If it would get you off of Jamahal Hill, I'd let you.
I think this fight's close enough that whatever, I'll take it. I was jumping on either side of it, so whatever. I'll take Jamahal Hill. All right. Now we're to our first title fight, UFC Bantamweight Championship. Merab Dvalishvili, he's a machine. He's from Georgia. UFC likes him so much that his first title defense is against Umar Nurmagomedov from Russia. 18-0. I heard on, I can't remember what the podcast is called, Chad Dundas and Ben Folks' podcast. Okay, yeah. Heard on their podcast, I guess it was today's or yesterday's episode. So Umar, Usman, Habib, and that Islam guy, 91-1 are their combined records in MMA.
And the only loss is to what's his face?
Adriano
Martins,
who knocked out Islam Makhachev.
He's the guy who messed that up.
I know. So it's insane. So yeah, the UFC really is big fans of Merab and his buddy Aljamain for sure. So give him this fight. All right. Anyhow, let's break down the fight for you. Dvalishvili and Nurmagomedov. We'll tell you about the challenger first. He's Young Eagle. He's 18-0, 2 knockouts, 7 submissions. That would be Nurmagomedov if I didn't mention it. He's won 6-0 in the UFC. He's fed at featherweight, multiple regional championships on his
mantle.
I assume they have mantles in Dagestan. Correct. Get the shirt. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store. 1-0 in PFL. 2 inches of height and inch of reach over Dvalishvili, 5 years younger. Better striking stats, more active landing strikes, better grappling stats. He's outstruck his opponents in the UFC by 3.1 strikes per minute. He's a 2-time Sambo world champion. He's at -298. Challenger is the massive favorite. The machine, Dvalishvili, 18-4, 3 knockouts, 1 submission. He's been submitted once. He also has some finishes, this guy. 11-2 in the UFC. He is the champ. He's won 11 straight fights. He's not lost since April 2018. He was or is a regional champ. I guess he was, we have to say. He used to fight at featherweight as well. 2014 Pro MMA debut. Silver medalist in Sambo in the World Championships. He pro grappler as well. He's outstruck his UFC opponents by 2.04 strikes per minute, plus 260. Gumby.
Well, your prediction is correct. I'm going Merab.
Yes. Yeah.
I
think we talked about this on our futures on our future episodes. So yeah, I had a feeling.
Right. And the big thing for me in this fight too is, not that Umar's win against Corey Sandhagen isn't legit. It is really legit. He looked good in that fight. He clearly won. But if you watch those grappling exchanges where Corey Sandhagen kept grabbing his foot and sitting up, and there was that weird seated position that then nothing really happened there. And granted, he was holding the position, I guess, which is worth something. And then ultimately he was winning the decision on the feet. I do think, he's a legit striker. He's very good. I just don't know that, nobody's knocking Merab out, right? That's the thing about Merab. Nobody's knocking him out. And we keep seeing people try to outwork him at his own game, but that's his game. It continues to be his game, and it continues to be the best thing about him. It's just that he has a pace that nobody's ready for, a speed nobody's ready for, and nobody scrambles like this dude on the ground. This dude has out-wrestled Olympic champion wrestlers, right? He picked Henry Cejudo up, laughed at him, pointed at Mark Zuckerberg, and slammed him down. And that's an insane sentence for so many reasons. But also if Umar has had trouble with scrambles, right? You have to describe what happened in those Corey Sandhagen moments as trouble in scrambles, as trouble in positioning. It wound up working against a lanky guy with not really much of a wrestling background in Corey Sandhagen. I don't imagine it works against Merab Dvalishvili. I think Merab winds up coming out on top in those positions, and you see Umar taxing himself, trying to get out of positions he's never been in.
Then he'll just beat him in a striking battle then, and not what we want to see, but
we've seen people think that was going to work against Merab too.
Yeah, no, he's a Nurmagomedov. He's my pick here. I think obviously he's not gonna have Merab level cardio because no one does, but I think he's gonna have enough to to take it. Probably this one's going the distance. I would guess, which obviously is dangerous to try to go the distance with Merab Dvalishvili, but better striker, and obviously he's Nurmagomedov, so he can grapple as well. So he is my pick. But the champ shouldn't be plus 260 here. So
no, the line's super wide here.
Yep. That's a solid play as well. All right. Before we dive into the final pick, you did it. You picked Underdog, and here we go. Underdog Pick'em. Underdog Pick'em is one of the biggest menus for all sports. Underdog is always making it easier to win with profit boosts and gimme pick'ems. NFL, college football, college basketball, MMA, NBA, NASCAR, and more. And you can now use specials to boost on all flex entries. Gumby, a play, please.
Yeah, so we got the fights coming up this weekend, and as I just said, I think Jamahal Hill is wildly overrated. So I'm gonna take the higher than on Jiri Prochazka's knockouts. That's right, he's 0.5 knockouts. He's probably not gonna get 2, but he probably is gonna get higher than 0.5. And not only do you get that beautiful pick'em entry there, but it's also going to get 1.32 times your entry. So you're getting a nice little boost in there too.
Nice. All right. Here's another thing to boost your play. Our promo code MMA SGPN. If you do that, you can claim a special pick and first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. It's underdogfantasy.com, promo code MMA SGPN. And that was a fine main event that we just broke down, but no, we actually have another fight. Another title fight for the lightweight championship of the world. Islam Makhachev from Russia. Arman Tsarukyan from Ryan H. Tell us where he's from. Armenia. All right, let's break it down. The challenger. What's his nickname, Gumby?
Akalats.
Akalats is true. Have you heard him explain about the fan fight when he had to go into the stands? It's such a funny thing. Have you heard that interview at all?
No,
when he explains why he fought the guy. Oh, it's great. Look it up, everybody. All right, Tsarukyan, 22-3, 9 knockouts, 5 submissions. He's been knocked out once. 9-2 in the UFC. He's won 4 straight and 9 of 10. He's not lost since June of 2022. He has missed weight before. He looks massive right now too, but cut. So hopefully he won't be missing weight here. He did lose to Makhachev back in April of 2019. That's why there's a 2 behind the title of this year event. Makhachev versus Tsarukyan 2. Regional champion. He's fed at featherweight. 2015 Pro MMA debut. 2 inches reach over Makhachev. 5 years younger. More active landing strikes. He's got a positive strike differential of almost 2. He's at plus 1.95. And he's plus 340 on the betting board. Makhachev, 26-1. 5 knockouts, 12 submissions. He's been knocked out once to the aforementioned Adriano Martins. 15-1 in the UFC. He has already successfully defended this here lightweight championship 3 times. 2 straight wins via finish. He's not lost since October 2015. 2010 Pro MMA debut. He's the Sambo world champion. That's pretty much everybody on this fight card is. 3 inches of height over Tsarukyan. Better striking stats, better grappling stats. He's outstruck his opponents by 1.11 strikes per minute, minus 350. Going to the champ, I don't see how. I don't see Arman's path to victory here. He's not better on the feet. Makhachev seems to be getting better with every fight on the feet as well.
You don't think he's better on the feet than Islam?
He has more power, but Makhachev's he's looked.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Makhachev's gotten better. I'm going to give you Makhachev's been getting better. But getting better when you were kind of a one-dimensional grappler for a really long time, doesn't mean you're better than the kickboxer knocking people out.
Yeah. Oh, he's a better all-around package. How about? Obviously, I think he's going to win the fight, and especially with his improved striking, he's like a Khabib if Khabib could strike a little. So Makhachev's my pick.
I don't think his striking is that much better than Khabib still.
Really?
He hit a head kick on a featherweight who came up and was had been drinking on the couch 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, he was going to get a title shot again. It sounds like, which I don't want to see. But
anyway. No, I don't know if they're getting a title shot right away. But what that's for another day. I'm gonna go with Arman Tsarukyan.
Ooh, you're kissing up to Ryan.
Shout out the violent Armenian. He's the violent Armenian. Remember,
yep.
I don't want his violence. Look, I think, to the point I was just trying to make a second ago, I don't rate Islam Makhachev's striking high just because he landed 1 head kick.
Brother.
It's definitely getting better for sure. So was Khabib's for most of Khabib's career. People forget that he went in and struck for a little bit with Conor McGregor. Say what you want about Conor. He was always a good striker.
There's lots to say about Conor again today too, or yesterday.
There's always stuff.
Yep.
But like, yeah, both of those guys have gotten better, but that doesn't put them on the same rung as a striker. And, you go all the way back, and granted, they're much different fighters than the first time they fought. But like, Islam Makhachev went 4-9 in that fight in takedowns. And so like, that was with Tsarukyan not being able to do a designated camp for him, being young, being raw, not ever having fought in the UFC really. Now we're talking about a very different guy. And yes, they both progressed. But if you ask me who's progressed more, Islam Makhachev with his striking or Arman Tsarukyan with his grappling, I think I'm going to take Tsarukyan. Apart from that one weird fight where he got taken down a bunch, what was it, Gamrot who took him down? Like, apart from that, like, and arguably he probably still won that fight, and that's coming from a Gamrot fan. But like, his striking is better than all these guys. So I'm going to go with Tsarukyan here. I think we're going to see a new champ. And at
Two new champs. No, one new champ.
No, one new champ. No,
Yep.
we both think one new champ.
Yeah.
But like plus 330, I mean, there's a chance of him sparking him on the feet at plus 330. I will take.
Yeah, that's right. We both think there's going to plus 340. How about I give you that?
Even better.
Yeah. We both think there's going to be one new champ. Interesting. But different guys. All right, let's recap, but don't you people go away. We got some more players for you. I have Makhachev. He has Tsarukyan. He has Dvalishvili. I have Nurmagomedov. He has Prochazka. I have Hill. And then we link up Moicano and De Ritter. All right. Locks, dogs, props, parlays. Because Gumby said it's going to be parlay again. I have to get a lock here, Gumby. I don't have a lock yet. Do you want to do your lock first? Actually, no. I'm doing it. Give me a De Ritter as my lock. Minus 108. What do you think of that? I'm being bold. I'm taking almost a dog as my lock.
I'm going to go Renato Moicano. I think it's as bad as Dariush has looked lately in the hands of Moicano. I think that's a gimme.
Yeah. For my dog, obviously I'm taking my girl, Eileen Fiona Perez.
Oh God.
Plus 220. Listen to yesterday's episode or watch yesterday's episode.
Yeah, listen to the last episode. He says she looks good and he likes the way she grinds. I'm going to take Clayton Carpenter plus 260. I've got some big dogs on this card. But he's probably the one I like the best. I think people sleep on how good of a wrestler he is.
I'm taking a big swing on my prop play as well. Moicano via knockout or TKO plus 400, which is a pretty crazy number for a guy who's knocking people out and against a guy who's getting knocked out. So
yeah, that's going to show up later in the show too.
All right, good.
And there's not too much show, so you guys can
compare.
Right. For my prop, I'm going to take Jiri Prochazka's knockout prop. I mentioned his round one knockout props plus 500. I still kind of like that. I'm going to tone it back a little bit for my official prop of the week. I'm going to take just him knocking him out at any time, plus 175.
All right. Moicano and De Ritter are the locks. Carpenter or Perez are the dogs. Prochazka knockout and Moicano knockout are the prop plays. All right. Hungerman John, super fan, parlay, Gumby, what do you have for us today?
So I'm going to use the aforementioned Renato Moicano KO prop. I can't believe it's 4-1, but that's the first leg here. And then to support Jeff's picks even further, I'm going to go over to his lock of the week, Rene De Ritter. I'm going to take him by submission. I know Kevin Holland, just kind of like a fish out of water on the mat. You can get Rene De Ritter by submission at plus 285. Nice. So if you put the Moicano KO with the De Ritter submissions, smush them together in a parlay, you're going to get plus 1825.
Cool. Smush that together and get yourself 1825 for sure. All right. You are set. If you want to talk more about this or anything else, we're in the Discord, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord, or you can hit us up in our YouTube comments. MMA Gambling Podcast, that's the name of us, on YouTube or on Twitter. We're at SGPN MMA. He's at Gumby Vreeland. I'm at Jeff Fox Writer there and on Instagram. Sign up for my Substack newsletter if you've not already, and you can play in my pick'em contest this coming weekend. That would be moneymma.substack.com. I stole the name from Money Moicano, obviously. Gumby's got Top Turtle MMA podcast. He has very interesting people on it always. This week is no exception. He's got CDF, Carlos Diego Ferreira, and the Goose, or Goozy.
Alvin Goozy Hines is going to be fighting at LFA 200, which we'll cover next week.
All right, so check that out. And of course, sportsgamblingpodcast.com, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. Gumby will bid you farewell till Sunday.
All right, I'm Dana Gumby Freeland. He's Sweet Dreams, Jeff Fox, and we will see you on Sunday.